everybody, welcome to week 3 of our Into the Woods Sew Along. I hope you have enjoyed it so far. We're coming into the final stretch. Today we'll be making this log cabin block. It's a really traditional block, one that you might be familiar with, but I do have some tips to make it even easier for you. And as you can see, there are quite a few of these in this quilt. You actually need 14 of these log cabin blocks. So I saved them for last so that you could take your time and sew on them and, you know, just enjoy the process of these because they really do come together really quickly, and it's a really gratifying block, especially with all these fun prints that come together. So you've already got all of your strips cut, I hope, and so now we can just dive into assembling them. So I like to use either the diagram in the pattern printed off next to my machine, or I like to be really particular on one block and make sure I've followed it exactly, and then I keep one block next to me at the machine to use as a guide. And so I'm going to use this block here since I know that this matches the rest in my quilt. I'm going to use this as a guide to make sure that I assemble this next one that I show you exactly the same way. So I'm just going to have this up here at the top of my machine so I can reference it. And then I've got all my pieces stacked here neatly, and I'll talk through the sizes as we add them on. So to start out, we are going to have a 1.5 inch red square and a 1.5 inch white square. And we're going to sew these right sides together with our usual 1/4 inch seam allowance. Now, I do want to talk just a little bit about seam allowance on this particular block, just because since we're dealing with these small strips, if your seam allowance gets a little bit wonky or off, it can become really noticeable in blocks like the log cabin. So as you can see, as always, I have my diagonal seam tape here. It has a 1/4 inch mark all the way down, which makes it really easy to keep that 1/4 inch consistent. This is also a great place to use a seam guide since we're doing a lot of straight stitching. If you have a seam guide that you like, there's a lot of different versions. Some screw onto the machine, some stick, some are magnetic. Any of them will work if you have a preference. It's just you want to make sure that you have something there to guide your fabric and keep it consistent. You might have a 1/4 inch foot already on your machine that will help you with that. It's just something to be mindful of with this block in particular. So we're going to go ahead, like I said, and start with our 2 squares, and we're going to sew that 1/4 inch seam. All right, so I have that first seam done, but because of the style of this block, I'm actually going to reset and bring my ironing board closer to me so that I can sew and press right here from the sewing machine. Ta-da! This will make it so much easier because I can have my iron right within reach. So actually what I'm going to go ahead and do is roll this back and press it. And then now I'm going to follow my block just like this, and I'm going to take my 1.5 by 2.5 white print strip, and I'm going to attach it to this side. So my red print is going to be down towards me. And we're just going to put these right sides together. And we're just going to make our way around this log cabin. Just make sure we're lined up all the way down. Then we can roll that back. Now it's time to add our 2.5 inch black or gray, in this case, piece. And that is going to go on the opposite side of our red square. So here's this 2.5 white print piece that we put on, and we're going to add the 2.5 inch black piece to this side here. We're just spiraling around our center, and the red is the heart of our home. And we'll press that back. And now we have a 1.5 by 3.5 inch black piece. And we've rotated it once, so we'll add this to the other side here. There we go. Now we're back to our white, and because we're just rotating this as we go, we can see that this 3.5 by 1.5 piece will fit right on this side. Having your iron close to you for a block like this really does make all the difference, so you're not having to get up and press in between, because this is a block where pressing in between seams really does make a difference, because you want everything to stay accurate and square as you go along. So now we have 1.5 by 4.5, and we're going to add this to this side. Roll that back and press. I do want to point out here, when I was cutting my pieces, I didn't count to the outside edge of my peak. I measured to the inside. So I've got this little bit of a pinked edge hanging over, but I noted that in my brain since I knew that that's how I was measuring it. So I'm just kind of ignoring those pinked edges completely. So now I have a 1.5 by 4.5 inch black piece. And we will add it to this side here. And you can always check, because all of your white pieces should be on one side and your black pieces should be on another. So if for some reason that's not how it's working out, you probably have it turned wrong and you just need to reorient yourself. And now we have a 5.5 inch piece for this side. And then now we're back to the white side. This is 5.5 again. I always take a few stitches and then readjust and make sure I'm lined up all the way to the edge. Press that back. All right, so we're coming into our last few pieces. This is our 6.5 inch white strip. This is the last of the white pieces that we'll add. Again, making sure I'm lined up all the way to the edge. Press that back. Now we have a 6.5 inch black piece to add. Press. And our very last piece is the 1.5 by 7.5. You should finish on the black side of your block. we go. Now we can just give this a nice press. Okay, just like that, your log cabin is complete. You're going to make all of these blocks the exact same way, just like we went through here, and you're going to need 14 of these. You're going to have 7 at the top of your quilt and 7 in a row at the bottom of your quilt. So let's go ahead and put some of these together. When I grab my log cabins and I decide to sew them in rows, I'm actually going to make sure that the black side of the log cabin is always down and to the right. And that's the same thing that I tell myself in my head over and over. Down and to the right, so that I know I have these laid out correctly. And you're going to sew 7 in a row. Both rows are assembled the exact same way. So let's just go ahead and sew these 2 together. And then we will just continue adding 5 more to this strip. So let me do that and then I'll meet you right back here. All right, so now you can see we have our row complete. We have 7 log cabins across, and this row you can see it actually is flipped when you put it on the top. So you assemble both rows the exact same way with the black side down and to the right, and it goes just like that for the bottom row, but on the top you just flip it 180. And so then the black is up and to the left. And that's really all you have to do for the log cabins. It comes together so quickly. And come back next week where we'll put all of it together.